Alright, so I ran out of time in the last class, so we're going to go today. Okay? Alright? So, yesterday we talked about different given acute angles, given obtuse angles, and angle side cases, side cases, side angle side cases. So we're picking up on all of those. Okay? So specifically we're going to focus in on when the opposite side is larger than the adjacent side and when the adjacent side is bigger than the opposite side. So the nice thing is that if you are in an opposite is greater than adjacent case, okay, there will always be one triangle formed. Okay. If your opposite side is longer than your adjacent side, one triangle, don't have to worry. Okay? Acute angle given, obtuse angle given, doesn't matter. Okay? The downfall is when the adjacent side is bigger than the opposite side. Because now we could have 0 triangles, 1 triangle, or 2 triangles. Okay? That's the downfall. Okay? When that's the case, okay, if my angle is acute, I have to check my height. Because then, from yesterday, it's one of these cases down here. Okay, if my angle is acute, it's one of those cases. If my angle is obtuse, I don't get a triangle. Okay? All right? So, that's a 3-minute recap of yesterday's class. Okay? But again, you have all of yesterday's notes in your notes, so you might have to refer back to it a couple of times. Okay? So, shabam, let's solve this triangle. Okay? When solving this triangle, first off, I would put the given information into the triangle. Okay? And I would get into the habit of saying that this lower left-hand angle is always my given angle. Okay? Which then makes this be side A, which is 22, and then side B, we'll say is there, which means that angle B is there, and angle C is up there. Okay? So, a couple of observations about this particular scenario. First off, this is an angle side case. So I have to worry about the ambiguous case. Okay. Second thing I have to worry about, or I have to look for, is what kind of angle I have. And in this case, we were given an acute angle, which means I could have, this could not form a triangle, this could form one triangle, this could form 2 triangles. Okay. Third thing that we have to look for is the comparison between the opposite side and the adjacent side. Which one is longer, opposite or adjacent? opposite's bigger. Okay? So, going back to my in a nutshell, opposite is bigger tells me what? One triangle gets formed. So, we don't have to worry about this. We've got from out of this, we're only going to get one triangle. Okay? So let's solve it using the law of sines. So the sine of angle A divided by side A is going to equal the sine of angle B divided by side B is going to equal the sine of angle C divided by side C. But I don't know either of the C's yet. Me, I'm a writer-outer. So I would write this out as 22 times the sine of angle B is equal to 12 times the sine of 42 degrees. So the sine of angle B is 12 times the sine of 42 degrees divided by 22. So that tells me that angle B is going to be the inverse sine of 12 sines of 42 degrees divided by 22. So I go to my calculator and so my calculator is in radians right now, so that's going to make a big difference. Okay, so inverse sine of, just going over here to type it, just easier. Inverse sine of, what did we say? I gotta bring my sheet. 12 sines of 42 degrees divided by 22. But again, that for me is in radians, so I have to convert it into degrees. So I get 21.4064. Okay? That then allows me to find what angle C is. Angle C then is going to be 180 degrees minus 42 degrees minus 21.4064 degrees. So angle C then is 116.594 degrees. That then allows me to say that the sine of 42 degrees all over 22 is equal to the sine of 116.594 degrees divided by side C. So C times the sine of 42 degrees is 22 times the sine of 116.594 degrees. So C is going to be 22 times the sine of 116.594 degrees divided by the sine of 42 degrees. Sine of my answer. I like to not round on any of my stuff, just so you are aware. And then the sine of it's me 29.4001. And those three, along with the three original given pieces of data, solve my triangle. We will tell you on a test or a quiz.
So I got 29.73, and
you rounded. Yep. Yep, because I didn't round, okay, and I never round until the very end. So if you rounded to, it depends on what you rounded to, as to how far off you will be.
Is that okay though?
I mean, if that's okay for you, my OCD would not let it be okay, but that's my OCD, and that's the issues that I have to deal with. Okay. All right. So, solve this triangle. So again, we set up our given information. Angle C is going to be here, and that is going to be 85 degrees. Side C is going to be 15 out there. Side A is going to be 25. In the last class, there was a debate for a good 2 or 3 minutes as to, well, can't we put side A on the bottom? Sure, you can put side A on the bottom, but then your triangle can't look like that because you're going to have to find a different height for it. Okay? Okay? So get in the habit of drawing it like that. Okay? So we are, first off, in an angle side case. Our given angle is acute. Our opposite side is now smaller than our adjacent side. Because our opposite side is smaller than our adjacent side, according to, in this one, we need to check our height because we are in one of the ambiguous type cases. So here's my height. So the sine of 85 degrees is equal to h over 25. What do we get for the height of the triangle? 24.9. have to compare, according to our notes from yesterday, down here, we have to compare, is the opposite side equal to the height? Is the height bigger? Is the height smaller? Well, okay, so let's compare those two. We've got here, I've got this as my height. I've got my opposite side at 15. So I am thinking that my opposite side is less than my height. Do we agree with that? Yes. Okay. So that scenario told me from yesterday that how many triangles are formed? Zero triangles are formed. So there is no triangle here. Okay. It'd be like the swinging, it would just swing here. Okay? Because it needs to be, if it was 24.9, there would be one triangle. If it would be bigger than 24.9, then there would be two triangles. Okay? But it doesn't make it down to be there. Okay?
So on the test, we have to show that, we have to prove that it's not, we can't just look at the picture and say,
Nope,
okay.
because our pictures will not be drawn to scale. Okay? Because we won't even have pictures for you on the test.
Okay.
Okay? Yep. That's going to be your job to come up with that picture. Okay? Angle side side case? Yes or no? Angle given. Acute. Comparison of opposite and adjacent. Which one's bigger? The adjacent is bigger. That means we have to do what? Check our height. Sine of 32 degrees is equal to h over 7. So the 7 times the sine of 32 degrees is equal to h. What do we get? 3.710943. Compare now my opposite side to my height. Opposite side is bigger than my height. How many triangles are formed? 2. Okay? So treat them separately. Okay? So my first triangle, I'm going to go straight up and normal. Okay? So I'm going to say then in my first triangle that the sine of 32 degrees divided by 5, that was my given complete fraction, is equal to the sine of angle A sub 1, because I'm on the first triangle, divided by 7. And I was given side A. Because remember, we've got to come up with angle A sub 2 also. We're going to have 2 angle A's. We're going to have 2 angle C's. We're going to have 2 side C's. for this one because I've got two triangles that I have to come up with. Okay, so let's do some work. Oh, 5 times the sine of angle A sub 1 is equal to 7 times the sine of 32 degrees. So the sine of angle A sub 1 is 7 times the sine of 32 degrees divided by 5. Which makes angle A sub 1 equal to the inverse sine of that fraction. Okay. So now we go calculatoring and we say that the inverse sine of my fraction, and my fraction is 7 times the sine, everywhere there's signs, of 32 degrees divided by 5. And again, for me, that's in radians, so I am going to multiply that by 180 and divide that by pi, giving me angle A sub 1 I get is 47.8924 degrees. Agreed. Okay. Now, what can we find? In my first triangle, what can we find? Angle or side? Angle C sub 1. Angle C sub 1 is going to be 180 degrees minus 32 degrees minus 47.8924 degrees. So angle C sub 1 is going to be 100.108 degrees. Now, I can run law of sines. Sine of 32 degrees divided by 5 is equal to the sine of 100.108 degrees divided by side C. Exactly. Side C times the sine of 32 degrees is equal to 5 times the sine of 100.108 degrees. So C here is going to be 5 times the sine of 100.108 degrees divided by the sine of 32 degrees. So let's go figure that one out. Divided by the sine of 32. Oops, I forgot to put an answer degree in there. to be 9.28896. Oops, this should have all been C sub 1 here first. So side C sub 1 is 9.28896. Woo! Love it. Okay? We're only halfway done. Okay? Because now we got to do the second triangle. So now we got to go way back up here, and we got to say, all right, now we got triangle number 2. Here's the nice thing. Angle A sub 2 is equal to 180 degrees minus angle A sub 1. Okay? So we found angle A sub 1 here as 47.8924 degrees, which that means then that angle A sub 2 is going to equal 132.108 degrees. We can now find angle C sub 2. That's going to be 180 degrees minus 32 degrees minus 132.108 degrees. And angle C sub 2 now is 15.8924 degrees. Again, when I did my calculations, I didn't round. I kept everything on my calculator, and my calculator goes to 6 sig figs. That's why everything's in 6 sig figs. Okay? Okay? Then we can find, using the law of sines, we can say that the sine of 32 degrees divided by 5 is equal to the sine of 15.8924 degrees divided by side C sub 2. So C sub 2 times the sine of 32 degrees is 5 times the sine of 15.8924 degrees. So side C sub 2 is 5 sines 15.8924 divided by the sine of 32 degrees. So that gives us 5 times the sine of my answer in degrees divided by the sine of 32 degrees. I get a side length there of 2.58371. And all 6 of those, then, I can't get them all in one screen because it goes too far down, but all 6 of those then become the answers to this particular problem. Okay? And if there's 2 triangles, you have to solve them both. If you only do one of the 2 triangles, you only done half the work. Okay? Good times. I'm just going to give you this problem, and then there are 2 triangles in it, and so the answers are, so that you can work it out, and you probably should work it out so that you understand what you're doing, is angle B sub 1 is 42 degrees. Angle C sub 1 is 103 degrees. Side C sub 1 is 25.48. Angle B sub 2 is 138 degrees. Actually, 0.0 degrees because it rounds to be like, really, angle B sub 1 is 42.0032 degrees. C sub 2 is 7 degrees. And side C sub 2 is 3.19. Okay. Good times.